For Hindus, scriptures have most powerful influence in everyday life. Bhagavad Gita states, the man who rejects the words of the scriptures and follows the impulse of desire attains neither its perfection nor joy nor the path supreme. Let the scriptures be, therefore, thy authority as to what is right and what is not right. The spiritual richness of the ancient Hindu scriptures is simply unmatched. But the volume of these scriptures is even more amazing. The very first scriptures were the four Vedas. These scriptures comprise the divine revelations, the Shrutis. As such, they have been considered the basis and command of Hinduism. The Upanishads, which are the sense and final culmination of the Vedas, also form part of the Shruti scriptures. The great epic scriptures, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, soon followed the Vedas and Upanishads. These scriptures and others that followed were formed as Smritis, the ones that were remembered. The Vedic scriptures had a strict code of finality. The Smriti scriptures of the latter period had no such compulsions. One example may explain. Vedas teach that no violence be done to any being. This, however, would prove to be an impossible position in certain circumstances. The Smriti scriptures, on the other hand, encouraged modifications as the situation demanded according to place and time. Smriti scriptures are derived from human experience and are the bedrock of tradition, continuing from the ancient and into modern. The Smriti scriptures may be varied according to the sect, sampradaya, and may be written in languages other than Sanskrit. The earliest script for the Hindu scriptures was the Vedic Sanskrit, Brahmi, as early as the 7th century BCE. Classical Sanskrit, which is also associated with the Proto-Indo-European languages and is considered the mother of many Indian as well as European languages, came to become prominent in 4th century CE. It adopted the present Devanagari script in the 10th century. It is said that Sanskrit is phonetically the most accurate language. Its constitution was so perfect that no word could have any variation of pronunciation or meaning. Each syllable, akshara, in the Vedas is endowed with significance and purpose, imparting to it a cosmic energy in a spiritual manner. Many experts suggest that Sanskrit would be the most ideal language for computer technology. Swami Vivekananda said, the vast Indian literature of India was written in Sanskrit, which was never a spoken language. It was only used for writing the scriptures, epics and dramas, etc. It thus became truly a classical language of India. In the absence of paper, the ancient Hindu scriptures were originally written on the dried palm leaves. Sir William Jones first established its relationship with the other European languages in 1789. Different ethnic groups, however, retain much of their original linguistic and folklore apart from influencing the mainstream Sanskrit. India today has nearly 30 languages and over 500 dialects in use. All these languages originated from four important groups: Austro-Asiatic, Tibeto-Burman, Dravidian, and Indo-Aryan. The earliest was the Austro-Asian, which group passed by the Indian subcontinent from Africa on its way to Australia about 50,000 years ago. In the long history of existence, over 6 million years, mankind perhaps began the journey of writing only around 5,000 years ago or a little earlier. Apart from the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, the Smriti recognize a number of other important texts. The Bhagavad Gita, which forms part of the Mahabharata, is considered the authoritative vehicle of Hinduism and its philosophy. The Dharma Shastras are specialized manuals that deal with the different subjects such as law, politics, and economics. Manu Smriti, the book of Manu, gives exhaustive details of the codes of conduct for all occasions. Manu, who is the mythological son of Lord Brahma, is thus considered the origin of mankind in Hindu philosophy. Manu literally means thinking mind and is therefore regarded as a symbolic beginning of higher thinking in human beings. Niti Shastra, written by a clever prime minister of the Maurya dynasty named Chanakya, has been hailed as an authoritative treatise on politics and administration. Arthashastra and Kautilya Shastra deal with economics, law, politics, and the like. Vastu Shastra, Hindu science of architecture, gives details of construction activity and is closely associated with thousands of ancient as well as modern Hindu temples. The darshanas are texts that explain and comment on the main Vedas and Upanishads. The Sankhya, the Puya Mimamsa, the Uttara Mimamsa or Brahma Sutra, the Yoga Sutra, the Nyaya, the Vaisheshika. Different philosophies do not reflect opposite views. More likely, they portray different aspects of Hindu theology, complementing each other to present the full picture. Apart from these different philosophical codes, there was yet another one, the Charvaka philosophy, which has been known as Hindu materialism. It's a philosophy that promotes pleasure-seeking and is contrary to the Vedic teachings. Even though this philosophy was never accepted by the mainstream society, its existence and endorsement without any serious opposition indicates the extent of freedom of opinion in Hindu culture. Agamas are the scriptures that were written as operating instructions for Hindu worship in the three main sects of Hindu faith. These scriptures are the manuals for the construction of temples and installation of the idols and for conducting various rituals, worship ceremonies, pujas, and festivals. There are three different sets of these scriptures. Shaiva Agamas, worship of Lord Shiva. Vaishnava Agama, worship of Lord Vishnu. Shakti Agamas, worship of many goddesses. Puranas literally mean ancient. The Puranas have been described as the Vedas of the common man. The complex used in earlier scriptures has been substituted with simpler and easy to understand descriptions. Hindu sages described the ancient tales and allegories in mythological style so that the ordinary person could understand the deep spiritual meaning in a simple manner of faith and devotion. The Vedic concept of a formless and transcendental God was substituted by the various images of the divine which could be more easily comprehended by the common person. Spiritual transformation through devotion, Bhakti, became more popular in these scriptures. These scriptures also cut across the barriers of the caste system, as all sections of the society had access to them. There are a total of 18 Puranas in which the intricate philosophies are explained very candidly in tales and parables. 6 Puranas each are dedicated to Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. It is through the Puranas that many Hindu religious practices like murti-puja, idol worship, shraddha, worship ritual to appropriate one's ancestors, varna dharma, religious ceremonies associated with different social categories, etc., have been properly explored. Puranas also contributed significantly toward the temple building activity. The exact date of the Puranas is not known, but is likely to be in the early centuries of the Common Era. Among the Puranic scriptures, Srimad Bhagavad occupies a very special place in Hindu society. Few passages in the Puranic scriptures have been considered inappropriate. Some modern Swamis have urged followers to ignore such writings and pay more attention to the real spiritual teachings. Panchatantra, 5 books, a wise sage Vishnu Sharma wrote these scriptures around 200 CE. These scriptures contain stories of animals through which human weaknesses and vices are portrayed very effectively. These books have now become popular for teaching children about morality. Tantra. The Tantra scriptures are mostly dedicated to the Shakta philosophy of Hinduism, although there are also separate Shaiva and Vaishnava scriptures of this tradition. There are 64 Tantra texts which were written in the middle part of the first millennium and later. These texts are devoted to many techniques which have been formulated to invoke spirituality and divinity in man. Some of these Tantra techniques like Kriya Yoga and Kundalini Yoga have gained popularity in many different parts of the world apart from India. The other aspect of the Tantra philosophy, however, in which the primordial energy is aroused by the practice of sexual techniques, partaking of meat and wine, and dubious methods of black magic, has been seriously questioned by many and has now become taboo mostly. Commentaries on Hindu scriptures written later by Shankaracharya 700 to 740 CE, Ramanujacharya 1017 to 1137 CE, and Madhavacharya 1199 to 1278 CE also must be mentioned for the great merit in relation to the ancient Hindu philosophy. There are many more supplements, complementaries, commentaries, and manuscripts in other ancient languages such as Pali and Tamil and some regional languages. Most prominent among these are Tirukural and allied Tamil scriptures. Tirukural was written in the 1st century BCE and regarded as the Holy Bible of Savaitists. Tirukural, however, held the Vedas as the most superior spiritual guidelines. If written word is any indicator of the level of civilization, the Hindu scriptures certainly project a glorious and shining portrait of the culture of India during the ancient period. No wonder that the ancient India became the chief hub of education. The first university in the world was established in Takshashila in 700 BCE, where scholars from many other countries would come for higher studies. The University of Nalanda in the 4th century CE was one of the greatest achievements in the field of education in Hindu civilization. The ancient philosophy of India, the legacy of prehistoric oral tradition, also gave birth to the Samana ideology of renunciation and meditation, which attracted scholars from many countries. It is even probable that the Greek masters Plato 427 to 347 BCE and Aristotle 385 to 322 BCE had contact with Hindu teachings. Hindu scriptures have continued to grow till date. The important teachings of the most exalted seers have been regarded as the minor Upanishads as compared to the original major Upanishads which were compiled before the Buddhist era 500 CC BCE. There has been extensive activity in connection with the ancient Hindu scriptures at various places. A mega project of Sanskrit dictionary is underway. It has been described as one of the world's biggest lexicography work, begun in 1948 and expected to be completed in another 50 years from now. The Sanskrit Dictionary project undertaken by the Deccan College of Pune has already been seen 3 generations of lexicographers at work and many more to go. The Sanskrit Dictionary project is unique with 10 million words from the Rig Veda to texts written until 1800 CE, studied and their etymological meanings provided. Work on catalogue of Sanskrit manuscripts called Catalogorum CC is underway by the University of Madras. Theodor Aufrecht first started the project and compiled the first catalogue 1891 to 1903. An ambitious target of 40 volumes is in progress to develop a complete online database of the ancient Indian scriptures. Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts and the French Institute of Pondicherry, associated with the Aurobindo Ashram, are in the process of microfilming and digitalizing all rare Hindu manuscripts. An 11-volume Encyclopedia of Hinduism was recently launched at Haridwar, India. The ambitious project was originally conceptualized by Swami Chidanand Saraswati over 2 decades ago, and some 10,000 people are believed to have pitched in directly or indirectly, towards completion of this magnum. Kailash Ashram at Rishikesh is regarded by some as a lost word in Vedanta studies. Great saints like Swami Vivekananda, Swami Abhedanand, Swami Ramatirtha and Swami Shivananda have studied in Kailash Ashram. Today, Kailash Ashram is being directed by His Holiness Swami Vijayananda Giri Ji Maharaj, who is the 10th Pitacharya in the lineage of scholars. At present, His Holiness is 84 years old. He is considered to be one of the greatest leading scholars in the field of Shankara Advaita Vedanta in India today. The Mukta Bodha Indological Research Institute is dedicated to the preservation of ancient texts from the religious and philosophical traditions of classical India and to making such texts accessible for study and scholarship worldwide. A core project of the Institute is the Mukta Bodha Digital Library, an online manuscript collection containing important Sanskrit texts in multiple digital formats, including searchable electronic texts and a sophisticated search engine. The library holds an extensive collection of Kashmiri Shaivite texts as well as manuscripts from the Kalatrika, Vrishava, Panchatra, Sri Vidya, Shakta and Natha yoga schools. In collaboration with the French Institute of Pondicherry and the École Française d'Extrême-Orient in Paris, Mukta Bodha has helped digitally preserve a portion of the world's largest collection of endangered Shaiva Siddhanta manuscripts, recognized by the United Nations Cultural Organization, UNESCO, as part of its Memory of the World collection. The Mukta Bodha Digital Library can be accessed through the Institute's website at muktabodha.org. The Mukta Bodha Indological Research Institute is an initiative of Guru Mai Chidivilas Tanda, the spiritual head of the Siddha Yoga Path, and was established with the support of the SYDA Foundation, the organization that protects, preserves, and facilitates the dissemination of Siddha Yoga teachings. As a non-profit educational foundation, the Institute is financed by private donations and grants. Other important sources of research on ancient Hindu scriptures include Mysore Oriental Research Institute, Puliyanur Tantric Collections, Calicut University, Rashtriya Sanskrit Vidyapitha, Tirupati, Academy of Sanskrit Research, Melkote, Karnataka, Oriental Research Institute, Trivandrum, Kerala, Sri Chandrasekhar Saraswati Vishwa Mahavidyalaya, Kanchipuram, Sri Venkateshwara University Oriental Research, Tirupati, Dakshinarayan Sharda Pitham, Sringeri, Karnataka, Nedu Pillai Vantamana, Kerala, Joglekar, Koglekar and Samba Dikshit Collection, Kokarna. The World Association of Vedic Studies, WAVES, holds international conference every year in USA and other countries. In 2010, the theme of the conference was Vedic Knowledge for Civilizational Harmony. Vedic heritage is vast, diverse and complex. These conferences are attended by Vedic scholars of the highest caliber. Many important universities in USA and other countries are present involved in research and advanced studies of Hinduism in the respective religion department. Hinduism does not have only one scripture as the sole authority. Rather, there have been innumerable scriptures, each depicting its different ideas and viewpoint. This free flow of spiritual literature from very early age provided abundant scope to change and modify itself, keeping up with the time, circumstances, and individual aptitudes. Yet, the essential principles of the Vedas and Upanishads remain untouched. Different ethnic races and tribal groups that amalgamated towards what later became the Hindu religion were allowed to retain their individual identity to a very considerable extent. This freedom of thought and belief has remained the sheet anchor of Hindu theology over millennia and has contributed immensely towards its evolution.